Good evening. It is time for the secret book stream. I don't know if you can actually hear that background music anymore. Book hype, indeed. So I thought I might, yeah. What I did was I went and visit my parents for a few days, and I found this book in their bookshelf, and I remember reading it as a kid, and it was so good. This is from a series called Plotbusters, so you know it's great, and it's called The Really Useless Spy School, and here is the deal, okay? So your talent for skullduggery is just what the Really Useless Spy School needs. You're assigned an important secret mission. Someone has stolen the Prime Minister's wig, and he's refusing to leave home without it. Can you rescue the wig in time for the PM to sign the World Peace Agreement? Or will the dastardly villains take over the world? So this is gonna be a little bit of a book stream. It is a choose your own adventure book. The stakes are very high. The title is promising. Welcome to The Really Useless Spy School, and here's the cover. I didn't actually realize, but the little teaser that I posted on my Twitter is also on the back of the book, because the dog wearing sunglasses is just so good. So there's a little white notepad thing here. Because there is actually an inventory in this choose your own adventure book. Yeah, so there's there's a thing in this book called How to Play, and it's got a very in-depth description of why you shouldn't cheat in this book. And so there's no point in cheating for 3 very important reasons. 1, you won't have any fun playing the adventure again. 2, you won't be able to tell your friends truthfully that you completed the adventure. 3, most important of all, spying is a deadly business involving the world's most ruthless characters. If they catch the merest hint of cheating, not even the best disguise or the trickiest secret codes are likely to save you. So good luck, and remember, spying is all about picking up information and using it carefully. So pay attention to any useful tips that crop up along the way. So I suggest you grab a cup of joe or other beverage. Grab yourself a comfy seat and strap in for the Really Useless Spy School. How are the levels, by the way? The music not too loud or anything? Seems alright? Okay, great. Okay, the intro. Ugh! Those plastic creepy crawlies you've just swapped with Tommy Griffiths really are as disgusting as he promised, and here they are. That's the plastic creepy crawlies. They'll be just the thing to let loose on an unsuspecting teacher. Snapping the tin box of fake insects shut, you skip back home after another successful day's scheming and trickery. It's what you're best at, pulling tricks on teachers, and sometimes even other kids. Back at home, you spot your dinner on the table with horror. What a disaster. You hate Brussels sprouts and cabbage. It's a good job you can see your folder of instant excuses lying nearby. You quickly find the piece of paper you need. From the Vale School, Grindstone Hill, much cribbing, Warwickshire. Headmaster Mr. O. Kengrove, BA. Dear parent, your child is studying explorers for an important school project. We are currently looking at long sea voyages and the awful living conditions that early explorers had to put up with. In order that he or she fully appreciates the conditions during a long sea voyage, it would be appreciated if your child could not be served any nutritious green vegetables for tonight's dinner. Thank you, Mr. Johnson, Geography and History teacher, Vale School. You hand the letter over to your mum. She reads it carefully and picks up your plate. Hello, welcome to the stream. That's a shame, dear, she says, scraping the greens into the dog's bowl. Would you like oven chips instead? You nod and hug your folder of fake letters. Those evenings spent working on Penny's dad's computer were well worth the effort. You'd better skip pudding as well, adds Mum. I don't think that sailors on long voyages were lucky enough to have treacle sponge and custard. No fear, you exclaim. I do enjoy my homework, but there are limits. You heave a sigh of relief as your mum dishes up your pudding. After you've experienced the washing up duties that sailors used to perform on long sea journeys, you wander through into the lounge. The news on television drones on about some political problem or other. It doesn't interest you much. After all, what have the world's problems got to do with you? Your mum hands you a letter. I found it with the milk bottles this morning. I've no idea who left it, she says. Spotting the red top secret stamp on the back of the envelope, you realise who must have sent it. It must be Stuart Rogers. He's been trying to make you become a member of his stupid secret agent gang for ages. You open the letter and glance at the sheet of paper inside. It's just a silly rhyme. I better write this down, actually. Can you all see this okay? Visibly visible. That's the rhyme that you've been sent. Next morning, you spend the whole of the history lesson given by the new student teacher puzzling over the strange note. Afterwards, in the playground, your friend Gina asks if you're feeling alright. I can't believe you wasted a perfectly good opportunity to misbehave and cause trouble. I was dying for you to pretend you were a foreign student like you did last term. Gina mimics the voice you put on. Sorry, miss, I speak little English. You smile, remembering how incredibly gullible that new teacher was. He even wrote letters to your parents, requesting that they let you stay up late to watch films for extra English practice. Suddenly, you spy drippy, daydreaming Miss Barrymore, the school music teacher, walking towards you. She probably wants to know about your missing music homework. She doesn't scare you. She's the easiest of all the teachers to fool with excuses and tricks, especially as she hates spiders. She hasn't been at the school long, and she only works 3 mornings a week, but that's still given you more than enough opportunities to trick her, and here is Miss Barrymore. You smile politely as Miss Barrymore approaches. Sorry, miss, my music homework will be with you before you know it. Face, F-A-C-E, and every good boy deserves football, E-G-B-D-F. See, I know exactly which notes sit on which lines. Those lines are called a stave, Miss Barrymore frowns. And I'm not here about your extraordinarily late homework. I'm afraid Mr. Kengrove wants to see you. You stop smiling. Seeing Mr. Kengrove is no laughing matter. As hard as you've tried, you've never managed to trick your school's fearsome headmaster. Although you don't realise it, your real adventures are about to begin. You knock on Mr. Kengrove's door and enter his gloomy office. The room is lined with class photos. Mr. Kengrove's head is buried in thick, dusty files. He looks up, slightly surprised. It seems that he doesn't know why you're there. And here is an illustration of Mr. Kengrove. Is that actually in focus? Not really. That's okay, whatever. Is it about the graffiti, sir? What graffiti? The headmaster asks. You're sure that he already knows exactly what you've done, so you add, putting his moustache in spots on the School Child of the Week poster. Oh, that. No, it's not about that, he replies. Oh, of course, it must be about putting a slice of carrot into the goldfish tank and then picking it out later and eating it in front of the nursery class. Mr. Kengrove grimaces. Well, I didn't know Mrs. Sharp was a vegetarian, you say in your defense. I didn't expect her to faint. Shh. hushes your headmaster. Thank you for owning up to those pranks, but I asked you here for a completely different reason. He smiles menacingly and leans forward. You know that this isn't going to be pleasant. Would you like a mint? He asks. Would you like a mint? Don't trust the mint? Okay. Your headmaster leans even further across his desk. You are, without question, the most sneaky, cunning, conniving pupil I have ever had the displeasure to meet in all my years in teaching. You're not a bully, and you're good at your schoolwork, but I've never seen one child play so many tricks. Thank you, sir, you interrupt, amazed at all the compliments that your very own headmaster is paying you. As a result of this, he continues, I'm suspending you from school. Oh no, now you're really in trouble. One last thing, says Mr. Kengrove as you head towards the door. Before you concoct a preposterous tale to your parents about getting time off for especially good behavior, I've already phoned your home. Now pick up your things and leave immediately. What a terrible day this has turned out to be. You trudge back home as slowly as you can. Opening the door gingerly, you peep inside, only to see your parents waiting with huge smiles on their faces. Have you spoken to Mr. Kengrove? You nervously ask. Oh yes, beams your dad. And there's a Miss Target here to see you, your mum says brightly. From the government, she adds in a whisper. You walk into the living room. Miss Target turns to greet you. She's a tall woman with a hooked nose and a steely glare. Good afternoon, she says sternly. Hello, you reply, gulping noisily. Is this about my suspension from school? Yes, she replies. She must be one of those dreadful school inspectors. Did you get our note? Miss Target asks. Note? Yes, it should have arrived yesterday. So the note wasn't from Stuart Rogers at all. Before I can reveal any more information, I must have your answer to the riddle. Is the answer daisy, pansy, or tulip? Thinking tulip. All right, tulip it is. Correct, exclaims Miss Target cheerfully. Right, there's no time to lose. I've already spoken to your parents. You're off to a special school for a short while. A special school? You wail. But there's nothing wrong with me. Apart from your constant naughtiness, says Miss Target. But this isn't a punishment, it's a great honour. You look at your mum and dad. Their chests are puffed out with pride. This is turning out to be a very strange day indeed. You walk out of your house and climb into an enormous black limousine waiting outside. Jenkins, back to base at once. Very well, madam. Oh god, that's not a voice. The car smoothly pulls away. Your parents soon disappear into the distance. As the car pulls out of the estate, you see Michelle Wilson gawping at the big car. You pull a silly face at her. And here's the car and Jenkins. There's no point in doing that, says Miss Target. The car windows are made of specially tinted glass. You can see out, but no one can see in. Secrecy is vital at all times. Why? Because we're secret agents. We're secret agents. Yes, Jenkins is a secret agent, I am a top secret agent, and you will be a secret agent. We all work for the spy school, and when we get there, you'll find out all about our plans for you. What? Why? Your head is swimming with the news. I know you have a lot of questions. They'll be answered when we get to the spy school. The limousine pulls into the old fire station near your school. Why are we stopping here, you ask? Because we've reached our destination, says Miss Target. This is the spy school. But it can't be, you say disbelievingly. This is right next door to my school. Is this really where the country spies learn their skills? For the moment, yes, replies Miss Target. We tend to move around to wherever the rent is cheapest. You raise both eyebrows. We haven't got money to throw away. Money's very tight in the world of global espionage. You're led into the old fire station and climb up a spiral staircase, up to a big plush office. A large round man wearing 3 medals and the largest moustache you've ever seen greets you, and here is the large round man. Hello, young person. Marvelous. Well done, Miss Target, he says. Miss Target leaves the room. I imagine you're eager to find out why we've brought you here. Yes, but I'm also quite curious to find out who you are. I'm Sir Norman Largejowls, the Spy Master General in charge of the country's secret services. But I've never heard of you. Good, that means I'm doing my job properly, doesn't it? Sorry? I'm in charge of all the top secret investigations in the country. It just wouldn't do to have my name and face plastered all over the newspapers, would it? You nod in agreement. Sir Norman settles back into his huge leather swivel chair. You see, my job is to find out all about what's going on all over the world and then keep it secret. It all gets very frustrating. Do you mean like when you pull a good trick at school, but can't tell anyone else in case the joke is spoiled? You asked. Exactly, Sir Norman's voice booms. I'm going to enjoy having someone with a brain around here for a change. But what about Miss Target? In the short time that Miss Target has worked for us, she has been brilliant, but she's only responsible for all the paperwork. I'm afraid the bunch of no-hopers we employ to go on secret missions are terrible. Do you ask why Sir Norman doesn't employ better spies, or do you let him continue with his explanation? God, coffee is good. Paperwork doers actually do all the work. It's true. You need people to shuffle through all that bureaucracy. All right, we've got a conflicting suggestion. Are we asking, or are we just staying silent? This is your story. God, some of these illustrations, I swear. Coin flip, maybe? I could bring up a coin flip. How do I... Alright, that's a third answer. Okay, he's gonna continue blustering. What a good word. An excellent word. And it's going to be your job to train them, Sir Norman finishes. You jump out of your seat. What? You cry in astonishment. Oh yes, we've been compiling reports from our ring of headmasters all over the country, and you're the most cunning schoolchild of the lot. Let me see, reads Sir Norman from a report sheet. You were late, but each time with a stunning excuse, 9 days in a row. You hold the speed record for writing lines. Your teachers have voted you sneakiest pupil of the year for the past 4 years. We need to use that cunning to train our learner spies. But don't you have lots of experienced, tough spies? You ask. Well, actually, that's just how it appears in films, you see, replies Sir Norman. We haven't had any real spies for a long time, as things have been quiet on the world spy circuit. But now we have a crisis looming. We need some help, and that's where you fit in. When was your last proper mission? You ask curiously. Sir Norman scratches his head thoughtfully. Oh, I remember, he says at last. That was 10 years ago when we attempted to blow up an evil criminal with an exploding cigar. It all went like clockwork apart from one thing. What was that? Well, someone didn't do their homework properly. He didn't smoke. You sigh to yourself. No wonder the really useless spy school needs help. Miss Target suddenly reappears, and while your head is still spinning with the amazing news, she guides you along a passageway and down a set of steps to the garage part of the old fire station. There you find, according to the sign above the door, the pupils of the really useless spy school, and here they are. What's that? One is like too close. My mic is in exactly like the wrong position. Do you dare ask why the school is called this? Or are you going to look at the trainee spies? Okay. Again, we are split. Should maybe try and set up like an animated coin flip. Is that a thing that I can do? I mean, there's the wheel. Live actions. Screw it. I'll just open up what is it? Random.org. Alright. Heads we ask. Tails we look. And it is, it's heads. Alright. So we're going to ask. Miss Target sighs. It's a little embarrassing. The place is supposed to be called the Really Useful Spy School, but one of our newest recruits thought it would be tremendously funny to paint over the proper sign. It was only a joke, smirks a pale, slightly hunched figure. And besides, the new name is just perfect. Silence, fingers, orders Miss Target sharply, and everyone jumps. Miss Target introduces you to the first pupil. George Fingers Golightly, the renowned pickpocket at your service, the hunched man bows. You make sure you don't get near his long, twitchy hands. Renowned for his famous lack of success at picking pockets, adds Miss Target with a glare. Fingers agrees reluctantly. The police let George Golightly choose between prison or working for us, explains Miss Target. Miss Target introduces you to the second recruit, a short, cheerful-looking woman with long black hair. This is Fiona Stevens. She's a forger, says Miss Target. You shake Fiona's hand, which feels wet and sticky. You look down to find that your hand is now covered in ink. Sorry about that, Fiona mumbles. I've been printing £3 notes all morning. The least said about that, the better, says Miss Target sharply. Sorry, but I have trouble reading instructions, Fiona explains. She thought she'd signed up here for a cookery class. Pie school, adds Fingers Golightly. Enough, shouts Miss Target. The third recruit is an enormous figure with a square jaw and huge muscles. He looks more like a spy, you can't help saying out loud, upsetting the others. Well, I hate to disappoint you, but I can assure you he isn't, mutters Miss Target. His mother bullied him into joining us. She hoped that we would be able to toughen him up. Hello, I'm, who am I? Oh, I know. Alfonso the Assassin Andrews. The huge figure bows slowly and clumsily in front of you. Is that the lot, you ask? Oh no, there's Sally Speed as well, gushes Fiona the Forger. She's an amazing driver and pilot, and a complete whiz at all things mechanical. Where is she? Asks Miss Target. The car's broken down in the high street. Oh, I give up, shouts Miss Target. Shh, hisses Fingers. You'll scare Alfonso. But the warning comes too late. Alfonso is whimpering in the corner of the room. What's wrong with him, you ask? He's afraid of loud noises, explains Fiona. An assassin who's scared of bangs and explosions. Now I've heard everything, you mutter under your breath. Suddenly, a thin woman with a shock of curly hair rushes in. Sorry I'm late, she says, puffing. I mean, that's not really a voice. This is Sally Speed, introduces Miss Target. She turns to you. I think that it would be an excellent idea to start your lessons immediately. Miss Target leads everyone into what seems to be a typical school classroom, except the chairs are adult-sized. Even so, Alfonso has problems balancing his enormous body on a plastic seat. We suggest that you begin with these lessons this morning. And here are the lessons. If this book doesn't actually close while I'm trying to write from it. You decide to take lesson 1 first. A textbook on spying lies on your desk, but you don't think you'll need it to teach this lesson. You are very talented at avoiding bullies at school and lecture the class for some time. If you are confronted by a bully and there's no obvious escape route, pretend that you can do karate or kung fu. Simply standing like this, as they do in martial arts films, will usually frighten a bully away. After all, a bully hates nothing more than smaller people who can defend themselves. Even if they stick around, they will often hesitate, giving you enough time to run away. That sounds very useful, pipes up Alfonso. I shall certainly remember your advice about running away. You instruct the class to practice martial arts moves. It's very difficult keeping a straight face when they look so silly, and this is how silly they look. Now, I would like you to scream exactly like they do in kung fu films, you order. No, please, trembles Alfonso, but it's too late. Sally and Fiona both scream loudly. Alfonso bellows in fear and flees from the classroom. Unfortunately, Fingers Golightly is directly in his way, but not for long. Enormous Alfonso flattens the poor pickpocket before smashing through the classroom door to safety. You'd forgotten Alfonso's terror of loud noises. The spy school doctor is called and examines Fingers at once. He'll be fine, but I'm afraid he won't be going on any missions in the near future, the doctor says before dragging Alfonso off to the sick room. Things are going from bad to worse. Now you've only got 3 really useless spies. While Alfonso's being calmed down with a glass of hot milk and some chocolate biscuits, you prepare for the next lesson. Which lesson do you want to take next? Lesson 1's already done. General sneakiness. Alright, general sneakiness it is. You talk to the class about various tricks, including your folder of fake letters. You show the class the fake karate certificate, which just happens to be in your back pocket. Are you really a black belt? Swoons Fiona. No, it's a forgery. I thought you of all people would recognize that. No, I'm not very good at that sort of thing, Fiona replies, and here's the karate certificate. The holder of this certificate has a black belt and is very good at karate. You close your eyes in frustration and ask yourself what on earth you could have done to deserve this. What lesson do you want to take next? You've done lesson 1, and you've done lesson 4. Five, 3. All right, lesson 3. As soon as you begin your introduction to secret codes, Sally Speed has a question. Sorry, Spy Trainer, but do you really think codes will help us? The other recruits all nod in agreement. And here is Sally Speed with her questioning hand. There you go. I don't know if you can really see it. She's Irish, apparently. You look at them all in amazement. Surely even the most stupid spies know that secret codes are essential for successful spying, you shout in annoyance. Alright, don't get your knickers knotted, soothes Fiona. It's just that we already know about flares. Purple flares show that we want rescuing immediately, red and orange flares say danger, keep away, and blue flares, I can't remember what blue flares are for. For hippie concerts, sniggers Alfonso, flushed with pride. Can you believe it? I just made one of those, what do you call them, jokes. You put your head in your hands and stare at the chapter on codes in your spy textbook. Which of these codes would you like to explain to the class? Letter jumbles, number codes, or Morse code? Morse code's probably a pretty good choice, I think. Alright, Morse code. The Morse code is a series of dots and dashes. These can be signaled by sound or light. When using sound, a short beep stands for a dot and a long beep stands for a dash. Alternatively, a short flash of light stands for a dot and a longer flash stands for a dash. It's also got the alphabet in Morse code, and then it tells you how to write tourists in Morse code, which is beep 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 beep. And that's your class on Morse code. It takes an awfully long time to explain the code to the really useless spies. For easy reference, here is the Morse code again. It's got the Morse code alphabet. The most famous signal sent by Morse code is the SOS, Save Our Souls message. This is often sent by ships who are danger of sinking. The signal is written like this, and it's 3 dots, 3 dashes, and 3 dots. And then it's got a little puzzle for you. Can you decipher the following signals? I don't know if this is important or not, but here they are. There you go. There's some Morse code for you to work on in your own time, I guess. By the time the really useless spies do understand, you're too tired to teach them any more codes, and you declare the lesson over. Okay. Which lesson do you want to take next? Lesson 5. Alright. The really useless spies don't seem to be that interested in fooling the enemy. Alfonso starts yawning and Sally pretends to pay attention while reading a comic under the desk. Fiona is rubbing ink off her fingers with a tissue. Well, that's really odd, you mumble to yourself. I thought everybody would love to hear about disguises. Well, never mind. What? Shrieks Sally Speed. Of course we're interested in disguises. Satisfied that you now have everyone's attention, you begin your lesson. You explained that one of the best ways to fool the enemy is to make them think that you are someone else. False moustaches, wigs, sunglasses, and long overcoats are traditional spyware, but it is also worth considering a foreign accent, fancy dress, or even face paints. After all, who would suspect a clown of being a spy? After 4 lessons, everyone is relieved to have a break. You are taken to the school's library where there is some lunch waiting for you. You'll be able to get some peace and quiet here without being pestered by those dimwits, advises Miss Target. You eat your lunch and have a look around the library. 3 items interest you the most. Which one would you like to take a look at? So you can choose the map book, the security update, or What Spy magazine. And here's a picture. Security update? Any advance on security update? No? Alright. So here's a top secret Draconia security update. Draconia spies have introduced several new methods of protection. One is the Securimat. It is an electronic doormat which scans the sole of an intruder's shoe to see if he or she is an enemy agent or not. All Draconia spies have specially made shoes which are recognized as friendly by the Securimat. Another new security gadget is the One Press Lock. It's a budget lock that looks incredibly complicated and may have a row of symbols or numbers. This is a bluff. To open the lock, always press the middle button, no matter what the number or symbol on it. That was the security update. You look up from your reading for a moment and spot a familiar figure peering in through the window. She ducks down quickly, but not before you recognize her. "Miss Barrymore!" you exclaim. "What are you doing here?" "Doing where?" "Oh dear, I was on playground duty and Sherbert's Fifth Symphony popped into my head. I must have been wandering again," she says dreamily. You point her back towards the school and watch her wander off. What a daydreamer. You go back to your reading, but are soon interrupted by Miss Target, who bursts into the library. "I'm afraid something awful has happened, Spy Trainer," she says. "Sir Norman wants to see you straight away." Sir Norman is sitting in his swivel chair, looking very grave. He immediately hands you a picture of a wig, and here is the picture of the wig. And he says, "Study it carefully, Spy Trainer. This missing item is a threat to world peace." It's a wig. "Not just any wig. It's the World Leader Mark II with no fringe and added sideburns. This is the hairpiece which belongs to our country's leader. We call it the Top Secret Toupee." Sir Norman leans forward with eyes blazing. "And what's more, it's been stolen by spies from Draconia. Their leader is the infamous ex-hairdresser turned master spy, Dr. Tongs," growls Sir Norman, pointing to a picture pinned on a dashboard. And here is a picture of Dr. Tongs. I don't know if you can see it there. There's also the wig. Dr. Dongs. Dr. Tongs, yes. "Can't you have a new wig made?" you ask. "If only you knew how hard we've tried. Every time we present him with a new one, the Prime Minister immediately spots that it's a fake and goes into a sulk. The PM is incredibly superstitious. He was wearing the top secret toupee when he won the last 2 elections, and so he thinks that it brings him luck. Without exactly the same wig, the PM finds it hard to concentrate on important matters. He certainly won't leave this house until he's wearing it." Sir Norman fiddles with his heavy paperweight for a second. "Our leader has been in hiding at the seaside of all places. How I hate all that sun, sand, and salty water. I really can't understand why anyone can spend 2 weeks beside the sea, especially in the summertime. Now, where was I? Oh yes, we'd hoped to train up all of the recruits in time for the mission, but a vital meeting of all the world leaders has been brought forward from next month to 2 days' time. There's going to be a big peace treaty signed there, and if our leader doesn't turn up to sign it, there'll be chaos. With so little time remaining, you are our only hope. Will you lead our learner spies on a vital mission to recover the top secret toupee? Well, will you? All right, yes. The answer is, in fact, yes. That was actually my last sip of coffee. I don't have any more. Good decision, Sir Norman replies gruffly. He hands you a map of the building. These are the plans to most of the Chateau Zertandef, where Dr. Tongs and his spies are stationed. Have a good look at it. And here is a picture of the map. I don't know how well you can see this. My webcam is actually not great. I might actually give me one short second here. Because I want you all to see this message, and like, I don't know, maybe that, like, this is good enough resolution for you. I don't know if you can see everything there. But I can take a picture of it for you if you like. Can't make out any of the labels. Yeah, okay. Give me one quick moment and I will make that available to you all. Barracks. All right, here we go. Here is the map. And I'll continue on. Or rather, you'll continue on. Are you with Sir Norman? Or are you not? Oh, you are with Sir Norman. Okay. I see. Sir Norman grabs the map back. Time's up. I'm afraid you can't keep it. It's too valuable even for a spy trainer, but you have an eidetic memory this time. Lucky you. Now, our mission planner will give you all the details for your assignment. All I can add is that there'll be a helicopter waiting for you when you complete the mission. You must signal it with these. And so Norman pulls out a bundle of flares. Take 4 different color ones, he urges. So you have a couple of choices here. I'm gonna write them down. So you can have red, blue, green, yellow. You can have purple, blue, yellow, red. Or you can have yellow, red, orange, and purple. These are your 3 choices for flare choices. I'm fairly certain that this Morse code is actually meaningless. Can we flip back to where we learned what the colors are? I'm tempted to say yes, but I think I'm going to say no on this one, because it will be funnier in the long run. Although if everyone wants to, I guess I can find the page. Maybe. So you can't pick 3 reds. You're picking 4 flares, and these are the three choices that you have. So you can pick red, blue, green, and yellow. You can pick purple, blue, yellow, and red, or you can pick yellow, red, orange, and purple. As far as I know, Alfonso was making a joke about the blue one. That's what I remember. Orange and purple for contrast. So I will tell you that red and orange flares mean the same thing. That's what I'll tell you. All right. You want the third group? All right, yellow, red, orange, and purple. That's what you're taking. All right. Now, here's £500 to spend on the spy equipment of your choice, Sir Norman says. Round up those miserable recruits and go and visit this person. Sir Norman hands you a business card. And it's a business card for Miss Q for all your equipment needs. No fixed address, part of the really useful spy school. It's Miss Q's business card. Yeah, you can't really see it, but that's fine. Q? Don't you mean Q, the letter, you ask? No, she's codenamed Q because there's always a demand for her services. In fact, to get any chance of seeing her, you'd better go right away. Remember, the mission code we will use to contact you is PIC3, says Sir Norman. Feeling incredibly confused, you are dismissed from Sir Norman Largejowl's office. After finding Fiona, Alfonso, and Sally, you visit Q. She's busy, but fortunately you don't have to wait too long before she can see you. And here's a picture of Miss Q. Can I help you? A little old lady in spectacles asks. Yeah, butts in Sally Speed, a wicked glint in her eye. We'd like one of those... Oh, shit. No. We'd like one of those super fast sports cars. A deluxe... No, that's Scottish. A deluxe getaway model with... Fuck my life. Okay. She's going Cockney now. A deluxe getaway model with machine guns hidden behind the headlamps, revolving number plates, a slippery oil dispenser, and a brake parachute. Oh, and an ejector seat, pipes up Fiona. It simply must have an ejector seat. Don't be ridiculous, you tut. Those cars only exist in films. And as you say this, the old lady pulls aside a black velvet curtain. And here's the car. I think you'll find that this is the car Madam was requesting, Q says smugly. The Martin Aston comes complete with all the features you mentioned, plus wheels which are impossible to clamp, and floats for skimming across lakes and rivers. Ingenious! We'll take it, cries Sally. In her excitement, she fails to spot the £100,000 price tag. What can you offer us for £500? You ask nervously. The colour drains from Q's face. Call yourselves spies with only £500 to spend? She says haughtily. Why, James popped in to see me last week and spent over £500,000. Well, we are on a pretty tight budget, points out Fiona. Yes, I know what it's like these days, what with Sir Norman Tightwallet. I'll show you my economy range, Q says disappointedly. As she rummages under the counter, Alfonso knocks a pair of dark glasses onto the floor, and they shatter immediately. That just cost us £20, you glare at him in annoyance. We must have a disguise kit, says Fiona firmly. You said yourself, Spy Trainer, that disguises were very important. Okay, you agree. And I think we should definitely have that wonder rope, adds Alfonso. Alright, you mutter, thinking about the other equipment. Hurry up, I haven't got all day, badgers Q. You've got £400 left to spend. What do you want? Okay, and here are the items, and I'll write them down. There's a little picture of the things here, but okay, so there's Wonder Rope. It looks like string, but it's very strong. And that's £50. You can get the Mark IV Code Breaker, which is £300. The Amazo Disguise Kit is £30, which you are for sure getting. The Micro Radio, which is the world's smallest radio transmitter, that's £400. The Easy Escape Pack, which is £100. A Spy Scope, which is £80, and it looks like a kind of like periscope thing. Or the Wonder Ear hearing device, which is £120. So you're getting the rope and you're getting the disguise kit. And you have £400 to spend on the rest. You're going to completely fuck this up, so having an escape pack will come in handy. It might do. So if you take the escape pack, then you have £300 left. So you're thinking these three things? While you're doing that, let me another escape pack. There you go. Now you can figure out what is actually playing. I mean, this is all up to you. I have absolutely no opinion about what you should choose. Last 3 items. It seems good. That is your inventory, and £100 for lunch. Yeah, great. Handing over the money, you thank Q and usher the useless spies out of the spy shop. From around a corner, a shadowy figure carefully watches you and smiles wickedly. So they're off on a mission. They are doomed to failure. The figure hisses quietly before skulking off into the shadows. Ironically, I don't think I've ever actually beaten this book, so maybe there isn't actually a good end. This way to M's department, says Alfonso. I like Why is he called instead of M? Sir Norman likes to make the code names of long-serving staff more personal, and is famous for his mumbling. You'll be telling me next that you have an ex-soldier who's now an optician called Major Eyewater. You laughed. No, says Fiona seriously. You sigh quietly. Jokes are completely wasted on these really useless spies. You're about to give up waiting when you meet a wrinkled old man, much older than Q. He mutters something into a megaphone, but you can't make out what he is saying. You kindly offer to look at his megaphone and discover that it is turned off. Eventually, after fiddling about with the megaphone's controls, you can hear him. Even with the megaphone, his voice is quiet. That must be why Alfonso likes him, you think to yourself. I can't help all this mumbling. It's from being in the spy industry for 50 years. Oh god, that was... that was not good for me. Here is... You nod. In the crazy world of the really useless spy school, this actually makes sense. You're here for Operation Baldy. The mission folder is here, but once it has seen the light of day, it will disintegrate in 5 minutes. Have you any information on Dr. Tongs, you ask? Sir Norman didn't say much about him. Well, that's not surprising, smirked They became the worst of enemies after Dr. Tongs trimmed off Sir Norman's mustache when he was asleep. Hands you a short computer printout. I must tell you that your contact at the airport has been renamed the Hairdresser. He'll be holding a sign connected with the mission title. Repeat, the mission title. What was that? Asks Alfonso. The mission title. Repeat, the mission title. Repeats, Here is the mission printout. His name is James Edward Robert Tonnings, nicknamed Dr. Tongs. His age is unknown. His address is unknown, but sometimes at Chateau Zurtandef in Draconia. He was educated at Vale School, the Cutright School of Hairdressing, and the Draconia Spy School. After a distinguished hairdressing career, Tonings started looking after the hairstyles of the rich and famous at the top salon in the country. 10 years ago, he defected to Draconia and changed his name to Dr. Tongs. Investigations found that he had been a secret agent for Draconia for many years before this, and he quickly rose to the rank of top Draconian spy. His assets are he is very cunning and he rarely makes mistakes. He's a master of disguise and he uses a deadly hairspray gun, and he has no known weaknesses. So everyone nods. Can you tell us anything else? Urges Sally impatiently. I do know that the Draconian spies are expecting a new forger to join them soon. He has a perfectly forged ID card. This should fool them into thinking that you're the new forger. Why didn't you let me do that? Moans Fiona. The ID card had to be a perfect forgery. Answers back. Fiona starts sulking. Good point. Fiona's not very bright, you whisper to him. You're not so clever yourself. Snaps. You'd better take that spy trainer badge off before you leave the building, or everyone will know exactly who you are. And your cheeks burn red as you take off the badge. You receive the ID badge. Da-da-da-da. On the way to the airport, you open up the folder gave you and start to decipher the coded mission details. Remember, we've only got 5 minutes before the paper falls apart, remarks Fiona. Okay, so this one, you actually only have 5 minutes. So I wonder if I can make... I wonder if I can actually do this. Okay, maybe I can. Hello? What's going on? Yes? So you have 5 minutes to look at this file. And I'm not gonna like call you out on it. But let me just put this one up there as well. Oh, your stream totally dropped? Oh, okay. Okay, this is really awkward because I have to get files from my phone to my computer. Okay, I think this will work. Okay, so basically what's happening is here is an image that you will have 5 minutes to figure out. This is the mission report. Upload from clipboard. I think that's it. Alright, so yeah, so I guess like be reasonable. In exactly 5 minutes I'll be continuing on with the story. Here is the mission report. I might go and make myself another coffee while this is happening. I'll see you in 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Welcome back. Time's up. The message self-destructs. I hope you understood the message, because I sure didn't. I'm good at Morse code, chips in Sally, who is now Irish again, and grabs the paper from you and looks carefully at the code at the top of the page. Tourists on a walking... Drat! And the paper disintegrates in Sally's hands just as you reach the airport. There is some confusion when you reach the airport. You're about to board the plane when you're all called to the information desk. It seems that each one of you has received a message from Sir Norman. You open up, decode, and compare the messages. What's going on? Wonders Alfonso. Some of these must be forgeries, says Fiona. Not that you could tell, you grumpily reply. This is just the start to the mission you didn't want. While the others shuffle around, you try to work out which of the messages, if any, are from Sir Norman. The last call for your flight echoes around the airport. Everyone starts to panic. Alfonso crouches on the ground, shivering in fear at the loud announcement. It's up to you to work out what to do. So here are some codes. Oops. That's too many characters on that. There's one more, which I'll actually do this. Yeah, okay. There you go. There's your 4 codes. Your choices are to board the flight or not. The 4th corroborates. So what do you guys remember about the mission? Something about a barber in the document. Oh, really? Hmm. I actually don't know how they expect, like, one kid to do this. Okay, so here's a hint, right? All of these all of these messages use different codes. But do you remember what the official code is? I think you guys were actually talking about it before. So one of these messages uses the official code, and 3 of them don't. um, here's what I'll do. If you get this wrong, we can restart from here. I mean, you only have 2 choices. Like, you can either board the plane or you can not board the plane. That's true. You vote for being assassinated on a plane JoJo style? Oof. That is a huge oof. Alright, we're going on the plane. Half an hour later, you're all sitting on Budget Airways Flight 007 to Draconia. Unfortunately, you are not sitting very comfortably. The park bench nailed to the floor of the rickety old airliner is digging into your back. Aren't these seats against the law? You complain to the stewardess. What do you expect for £27.50? The stewardess snaps coldly. Is that all the ticket cost? What an old skinflint Sir Norman is, you think to yourself. Apart from pointing out to Fiona that she's reading her magazine upside down and telling Alfonso and Sally to stop arguing, you keep quiet throughout the journey. The plane is almost empty. Few people like to fly Budget Airways, especially to gloomy Draconia. Suddenly, a masked figure leaps into the aisle waving a gun. No one move, the hijacker shouts. You, come here, I need a hostage, the figure says, fiddling with a watch and pointing the gun at a terrified Alfonso. Here's an image of that scene in extremely blurry quality. It's great. Oh, is that actually? No. Do as he says, urges Sally. Trembling, Alfonso starts lumbering towards the hijacker, but his foot catches on a piece of loose carpet. He staggers forward, knocking over the hijacker. Both of them land on your bag. One of your flares fires, immediately enveloping the plane cabin in smoke. Sally, always eager for a scrap, jumps on top of Alfonso and the hijacker, and an almighty scrap starts. In the whirling mixture of arms, legs, and bits of airline seat, which arm do you grab to help Alfonso and Sally overcome the hijacker? By the way, you now no longer have a purple flare. So here is your choices. They're not like super great, but you have a choice. Who do you want to grab? You can choose A, B, or C. I don't know if this is very good. If I describe them to you, A is a hand wearing a light suit jacket. B is wearing a pinstriped suit jacket with a watch, and C is a hand wearing a light suit jacket with a watch. B. I think this is not very fair because it does actually depend on you being able to see the hijacker and noting that he has that he is wearing a coat with a watch. That is a light coat. So I'll just give this one to you. It's actually C. I think B is actually Alfonso's arm. So you successfully grab the hijacker's arm and watch the gun scuttle along the floor to the far end of the cabin. The hijacker manages to wrestle free of your grip and, spotting how far away his gun is, decides to run the other way. Barging open the cabin door, the hijacker leaps out into the swirling clouds. "Oh goodness!" screams the shocked stewardess. "Don't worry, he'll be alright," Sally says, watching the hijacker float down under a pink parachute. You pick up your bag and peer into it. He's actually stolen the spy scope and the Wonder Ear. So that's a bit of bad luck. As the smoke in the cabin clears, Fiona congratulates Alfonso. "If you hadn't been so clumsy, we would have been properly hijacked." I was so scared that the hijacker was going to shout, Alfonso replies quietly. Do you want to ask Alfonso why he's afraid of loud noises? All right. Well, Alfonso won't say a word, so that's the thing. He won't talk about it, whispers Fiona. All we know is that he was once on a proper mission and a cheeky school kid burst a crisp packet behind him. Alfonso thought he'd been shot and fell to the ground. All the kids laughing at him on the ground unhinged his mind, and he's been living at home with his mum ever since. So that's the story, apparently. As everything returns to normal, Sally spots something that the hijacker dropped. It looks like a dusty old music book. At that moment, the stewardess returns, clutching gifts. The captain says you can have either of these things if you promise to keep quiet about that unsavory incident, he explains. There's a pair of binoculars and a box of chocolates. What kind of kid assumes he's been shot? Your bag is almost full, somehow, and you've only got room for one of these gifts, or the dusty music book. The others start arguing over which one to take, but it's up to you to decide. Do you want the music book, the binoculars, or the box of chocolates? The dusty music book seems useless, so you should probably take that. I mean, the dusty music book was something that the hijacker dropped. So maybe. You pick the red herring. Alright, music book it is. Okay, the plane lands safely at miserable Draconia Airport. What a dump, Fiona exclaims as you wander into the crowded arrivals lounge in a voice that sounds suspiciously like yours. Through the crowd, you spot three people holding signs with what seem like coded pictures. Oh, crikey, I've forgotten what we should be looking for, exclaims Sally Speed. This does not surprise you one little bit. And which person do you head towards? So here's the picture. You can't really see what's going on because of this stupid webcam. But image number 1 is of someone with a bald head. Image number 2 is of someone getting their hair cut. And image number 3 is of someone losing their toupee. I kind of lied when I said I was not invested in your success. Try and remember everything that you've been told about the mission. Your contact was a hairdresser with a sign with the mission title. Do you remember what the mission title is? The Draconian guy has got a hairspray gun. A deadly hairspray gun. The operation was the 5-digit code thingy. It was indeed the 5-digit code thingy. in a crazy flash of eidetic memory, you actually remember that the operation title is these numbers. There you go. Yeah, I'm actually invested in the success of this mission now. You did not go over this kind of code in the lesson, but it does in fact say Baldy. Sorry about the kerning. Yeah, this is a children's puzzle book, remember? Although the puzzles are actually quite difficult sometimes. Anyway, the mission title is Operation Baldy. So picture number 1. Pleased to meet you. I'm the hairdresser, the tall man says. You follow him out of the airport, and he points to a big hill. The Chateau Zertundef is at the top. He's apparently being played by Michael Caine in this one. You will need these boots, as the courtyard is covered in electronic security mats. The soles of these boots are programmed with the correct identity of the forger that Dr. Tongs and his cronies are expecting. I've also got Draconia's latest welcome word for you. I've put it in code, the hairdresser says, handing you a folded piece of paper. Leaving the hairdresser, the 4 of you start trudging up the hill to the gloomy chateau. On the way, you unfold the note. So you actually have some boots, and here is what's on the code. Or to make it a little bit easier, I'm just gonna give you that one. So I'll give you a little bit of time to maybe think about that. So the official mission code is pick 3. And as you remember, every third letter from the message has been placed in the word at the message. Replace the letter to break the code. I think this book is actually wrong. Because it's wrong in a number of places, but pick 3. The number it is the number, but it's actually not relevant. I'm gonna give you these extra words. Because that actually explains how the code actually works. Welcome seems pretty good. I mean, that's what you have. I will say that although the book is sometimes wrong, it's not wrong on this one. Do you want spaghetti or do you want spaghetti? Anyway, walking towards the chateau, time passes quickly as you concentrate on the mission ahead. Unfortunately, time is dragging for the others who can't stop moaning. I hate walking, whines Sally Speed just as a minibus appears around a bend in the road. It stops and a friendly-looking man in an orange bobble hat beckons you. It's got Yeti Tours written on the side, exclaims Fiona. The others leap into the bus. Hurry up, shouts Sally. Quick, urges Fiona. We might leave you behind if you don't hurry. Do you join them or not? Why wouldn't you, indeed? All right, you say thanks and hop aboard the minibus. And as you do, a big thug leaps from underneath the seats and handcuffs you, smiling broadly. Welcome to Draconia, the thug says menacingly. Oh no, wails Sally. We've been tricked. You are roughly bundled inside the chateau and into a majestic room full of sculptures and paintings. Across the room stands an evil-looking figure in a big coat, floppy hat, and sunglasses. Well done, boys, the figure says. Hello there, snoopers. Why is he Scottish? No, let me try that again. Well done, boys, the figure says. Hello there, snoopers. You've already met my 2 operatives, Dagger and Cloak. I am Dr. Tongs, and it seems you are my prisoners. His high, thin voice echoes strangely around the room. Not so loud, please, trembles Alfonso, who starts to cry. Oh, for pity's sake, Nope, that's not a loud, thin voice. Oh, for pity's sake, don't worry. I'm not going to kill you or leave you here forever, snaps Dr. Tongs. You will remain here long enough for us to hold on to the top secret toupee and watch the world leaders' meeting dissolve into chaos. Here's a picture of the scene. You can't really see it, but there's Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger search everyone before dragging you all off to an old games room which has been turned into a prison. Tied up and locked away in the chateau, it's a couple of days before the four of you are set free. Once back at the really useless spy school, the others are all ordered to the classroom while you are led silently to Sir Norman's office by an agent that you don't recognise. You smarten yourself up and put your spy trainer badge back on. Sir Norman swivels his chair around and glares at you. Where's Miss Target? You ask. None of your business, he snaps back. I'm so sorry we failed, Sir Norman. You start to apologise, but the Spy Master General butts in. It's too late now. The time to sign the peace treaty has passed. The whole world's in confusion. And the Draconian spies are more powerful than ever. You won't be needing that any longer, Sir Norman says, leaning over his desk and ripping your spy trainer badge off. Ow! You cry. Read this, he says. And it's a newspaper clipping. It says, Chaos as bold leader resigns. The Prime Minister resigned yesterday after failing to turn up at the vital meeting of world leaders. Without him, the peace treaty couldn't be signed and world chaos looks likely. Already, many countries are recruiting more spies for sinister work. In a short statement, the Prime Minister said that without his wig, he is unable to do his job and he hoped people would understand. Reports suggest that other leaders are not sympathetic. Several have called him Chrome Dome, and one referred to him as that baldy idiot. And there's a small picture of Prime Minister A. Slaphead. The end. So how about let's not go on the bus. Seems bad. So wait, we're a child. These people kidnapped us, forced us to train useless people to become spies despite the fact that we have no experience. And then he's pissed at us when it doesn't go well. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It's not the, like, useful spy school anymore. Anyway, you, with the start, your premonition ends, and you decide not to go on the bus. A la Final Destination. Suit yourself, grimaces the man with the bobble hat, shutting the minibus doors and starting up the engine. You peer into the bus and see a big thug grappling with the rest of the really useless spies. It was a trap. You have to agree. You are beginning to think that you are a very Nicolas Cage-like really useless spy too. On your own and cursing your bad luck, you trudge up the hill, which is bathed in bright sunlight. When you are only 100 meters from the chateau, you stop, rest, and think carefully. You decide to examine that tatty music songbook. The stamp inside the front cover shows that it's from your own school. Amazing. A page halfway through the book catches your eye. It has some of the letters and musical notes ringed in pen. Can you remember enough of your music homework to solve the puzzle? There is an image coming, don't worry. You remembered. Every good boy deserves fruit. It's true. Here is your music homework. Man, this playlist is really good. Speaking of music. There you go. Does anyone else know music? Gate code? Looks good to me. I think you got it. You've got enough of it anyway. What shall I do next, you wonder to yourself. You remember something Fiona said when you were buying equipment from Q. Disguises are important. You lift the catch on the box containing the Amazo disguise kit. Lots of amazing gear suddenly springs out. This kit contains far more than the usual beard and spectacles. You marvel at the Wonder Leg extensions, a set of special easy-to-use stilts that make you half a meter taller. Within a few minutes, you are completely transformed, and this is what you look like now. You look somewhat like Barry Gibb. Hidden beneath your truly amazing disguise, you creep up to the big iron gates of the Chateau Zertandef. You spot the small code pad with its 3 buttons. You also see that the gates are slightly open. There is just enough room for a slight figure like you to squeeze through. Do you go through the gates, or do you use the code pad? If you can squeeze through, why is there a need for a code? That's a good point. That's a good question. I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm trying to look ahead, but I don't know. No, the smile just means that I'm having a really good time. I mean, I'm gonna say that you're at the gate, and you can have a look at the code pad, and then you can decide. Here is a picture of the code pad. There's 3 buttons. One's a treble clef, One's a dagger, and one is music notes. You can decide to use the code pad or slip through the gate. We've got one vote for push the dagger. I mean, there's one other thing that you have to remember about the one push lock. Treble clef. So you're gonna use the code pad. You don't want to make the decision now. All right, you're gonna press the treble clef. So the big gates swing open, and you walk through the courtyard. Just as you reach it, the front door swings open, and an enormous arm drags you inside the chateau. Sorry about that, apologizes the huge owner of the meaty arm. We have information that there's an enemy agent about. He looks at you more closely. Bit small for a spy, aren't you? Growls the scary-looking thug. Shut up, Dagger, interrupts a high-pitched voice. The height or weight of my operatives doesn't interest me. He's German now. I only wish to know whether they are genuine or not. Oh, I certainly am genuine, you say, trying to mask your quivering voice. Well, your ID card will prove it one way or the other, grins Dr. Tongs evilly. I'm not entirely sure that you do have the ID card. Because you kind of pull the gun on him. I'm trying to find where the book actually mentioned the ID card. Because you have an ID badge. Oh no, you did get the ID card from when you were talking to It is, yeah. Don't worry, you've got it. Dagger was previously garnered. You hand over the ID card. SP Onage. Come this way, Mr. Onage, orders Dr. Tongs. You follow him into a beautiful room with polished wooden floors. The walls are lined with famous stolen paintings, and there are beautiful sculptures and pieces of fine china dotted around the room. Dr. Tongs notices your amazed looks. You like my great ballroom? You think it best to nod. Oh yes, continues Dr. Tongs. Spying can pay pretty well. Anyway, enough of these trifles. I am Dr. Tongs, and this is my brutal assistant, Dagger. His twin brother, Cloak, is busy torturing some impostors. You shiver with fear. poor Fiona, Alfonso, and Sally. What torture method is Cloak using? Dr. Tongs asks Dagger. Is it the rack, electric shocks, or some screws? I'm showing them my entire jam jar lid collection, announces another figure entering the great ballroom. You really can't be so incredibly cruel and wicked at times, Cloak. Dr. Tongs smiles menacingly. You nod and try to look as fiendish as the three draconian spies. What condition are they in? Did they tell you anything? You have to ask. They're in good shape, but we haven't learned anything else about their leader, the one we didn't lure into the minibus. Hang on, who's this wimp, Dr. Tongs? Yes, a jam jar lid collection. Says Cloak, glaring at you. Yeah, who is this wimp? Echoes Dagger. Wasn't there a short man or woman with the spies on the plane when Agent X tried to hijack it? Dagger asks Dr. Tongs. You shift about a little uncomfortably. You're going to need all of your school kid cunning to overcome this situation. One thing you've learned is that if you are in real trouble, try to go on the attack. Who are these meatheads, Dr. Tongs? You ask aggressively. I was told that you surrounded yourself with high-quality agents like myself. Cloak and Dagger look furious, but Dr. Tongs is smiling in a friendly way. They're purely muscle, Onaj. Now, before we get you busy forging, is there anything you would like to do? If you say... would you like to say, can I see the top secret toupee, Dr. Tongs? Or would you like to say, I'd like to interrogate the three imposters, Dr. Tongs? Or would you like to say, let's get to work, Dr. Tongs? I mean, if you had a gun, that would be pretty good. But as you can see from your inventory, you don't have a gun. Yeah, you can't really pull the wonder rope on him. It looks like string, but it's strong. Strong string. So we've got one for interrogation, one for beginning forgery. Has great tensile strength. Yeah, exactly. You want to go and see Alfonso, but get the toupee? Alright, well, I guess that's 2 for interrogation. Or at least 1.5 for interrogation. So let's do that. Dr. Tongs' friendly smile disappears. How did you know there were 3 imposters, eh? Dagger and Cloak advance towards you. It looks like that even your extraordinary cunning and trickery can't save you now. Would you like to adopt a martial arts stance or show them your forged black belt karate certificate? The certificate is pretty good. Like, can you imagine though? You're like being bared down upon by like 2 large thugs, and you just pull a certificate out that says you're good at at karate. I think that is the correct option here. It's very powerful. So you pull the certificate out of your back pocket, Cloak grabs it and takes a quick look at it, and with one quick chomp, he just eats it. You look around wildly for an escape route, but you can't find one. Dagger shouts, "You want to see karate, eh?" and smashes his fist through a solid wooden door. Gulp. You decide to give yourself up. It's a good thing we poisoned the certificate. Takes this imposter away, insists Dr. Tongs. You're led into an old games room. Dust and cobwebs cover a table tennis table and a selection of arcade game machines. I used to like coming down here until Dr. Tongs told me that real spies don't play ping pong, sighs Cloak wistfully. He pushes you into the room, and in your anger, you grab a ball and hurl it straight at his face. Ouch! Next time, try and use something heavier than a ping pong ball, eh? Smirks Cloak as he slams the door. The door is closed tightly. You look around your gloomy prison. There's no way out. The PM is still without his wig, and the meeting of the world leaders will be happening very, very soon. Several hours later, the door to your prison bursts open, and some scruffy but familiar characters are thrown into the room. Sally, Alfonso, Fiona, are you alright? You cry. Yes, but we've failed our mission, they say tearfully. At least we'll be set back in a few days' time, says Alfonso. Dr. Tongs has promised that we won't come to any harm. Not until Sir Norman and Miss Target get hold of us, scowls Sally Speed. We really were really useless spies, mumbles Fiona. You have to agree. And I was a really useless spy trainer, you add. The end. Your Nicolas Cage powers come back into the fore, and you realise that maybe saying I'd like to interrogate the 3 imposters, Dr. Tongs, was a bad idea. So would you like to say, can I see the top secret toupee? Or would you like to say, let's get to work, Dr. Tongs? Hey, Cleo Hex, welcome. Let's get to work. All right, let's get to work. Dr. Tongs dismisses his 2 angry henchmen and leads you over to a white marble sculpture. What we need, Onaj, are some forged airline tickets and currency. Once the meeting of the world leaders has ended in chaos because one bold leader won't turn up, we'll lie low for a while. Dr. Tongs leans on the sculpture, grinning evilly. And those imposters, you ask, what will happen to them? Oh, we'll let them go. We're not into hurting people. Dr. Tongs grabbed the sculpture's head, twists it in a violent headlock, and adds, unless we really have to. You shudder. Suddenly, the wall slides away to reveal another room. The room looks just like a hairdressing salon. There are 3 wash basins and a pair of hairdryers standing along one wall. But what really takes your breath away is the display of wigs near the door. 3 of them are grey. This is the nerve center of the draconian spy ring, says Dr. Tongs, fiddling unsuccessfully with a large spray can of hair gel. Do you want to wait or try to grab a wig immediately? You've reached the nerve center. There's a picture here, but you probably can't see it very well. There's wash basins and wigs and stuff. Grab a wig while he's distracted. Wig now? Okay. Wig now. Which wig do you want to grab? You can choose wig 1, wig 2, or wig 3. It's a very good point. 3 does look somewhat like the original. Yeah. So do you want to take 1 or 3? Or 2? Grab 1 so he doesn't know what you're doing. So the way this is going to work is you're going to just have one of these wigs in your inventory. It doesn't matter which one you grab. Like the same thing happens. So like you probably want to grab the correct wig. Three. Week 3. Okay. Yeah, the same consequence happens for all 3, but you have to choose the right one. You grab the wig, but Dr. Tongs' arm shoots out and grabs hold of it as well. The 2 of you start a great tug of war. You don't have the creepy crawlies, actually. I don't know why you don't have it, but you just don't. Yeah, okay. You just don't have them. Quick blast him in the face with a flare. Wait, why don't you have the creepy crawlies? I'm very confused. Where's the gun? Like, I don't think they've been like confiscated or anything. You clearly don't have a gun this time. I'm very confused. You do have a nice pair of boots. Pull a wig on him. So you're fighting with Dr. Tongs, right? Oh, I see. There's actually like yeah, you just start with them. but I don't actually know when you would lose them at all. Anyway, you do have creepy crawlies. So in the struggle, your mission bag bursts open. Both the Wonder Rope and the tin of creepy crawlies falls out. The tin bursts open as it hits the floor. Oh, look, you say. Dr. Tongs glances down for a fraction of a second and lets out a high-pitched scream. Ah, bugs and spiders, I can't stand them. He throws his hands up in horror, steps back to avoid the realistic plastic insects, and catches his foot in a coil of the Wonder Rope. Crash! Over he goes onto the hard wooden floor. So that was the rope. Good job. You quickly rip off your disguise kit and Wonder Legs and turn to escape, but Dr. Tongs is back up on his feet. He grabs your t-shirt and pulls you towards him. The most you can do is reach one of the hairdryers, which are both labelled with 3 buttons, A, B, and C. Which button do you want to press? You're in the hairdressing room. They're like proper hairdryers, like with seats and stuff. Is this an elaborate professional development course for spy trainers? Yeah, no, it's just 3 buttons, A, B, and C. C seems pretty good. Alright, let's go with C. The hairdryer starts up. Suddenly, an enormous blast of hot air thunders across the room, knocking both of you over. The hairdryer swivels back and forth, blasting air, turning the salon room into a hurricane zone. Wigs, scissors, combs, and bottles of all shapes and sizes hurtle around the room. Dr. Tongs screams as a large can of styling mousse hits him squarely on the chin. You struggle to get out of the room and back into the great ballroom. Alerted by all the commotion, Cloak and Dagger appear on the far side of the great ballroom. You freeze for a moment as Dr. Tongs also struggles out of the windy room. He looks in quite a state. Long blonde hair has spilled out from under his hat. Grabbing your easy escape pack, you now wished you'd ask Q back at the spy school how it worked. You can see that it has 3 buttons labelled X, Y, and Z, but which one should you press? On a scale from 1 to 10, how luscious is his hair? Probably about an 8. I'd say. So the easy escape pack has 3 buttons. One is labeled X, one is labeled Y, and one is labeled Z. And you have no idea how the thing works. So you can press one of the buttons. I mean, obviously the really useless spy school. Alright, we've got one vote for X. What kind of easy escape pack has 3 unlabeled buttons of indeterminable purpose? They're not unlabeled. They're all labeled. Your Nicolas Cage sensors snap into play and reveal to you that that 2 of the buttons actually are correct, and 1 of them is incorrect. Alright, so we've got 2 saying X, 1 saying not X. Alright. You press button X. You press button X, and from the escape pack comes the sound of an out-of-tune brass band playing a dull, dreary melody. Cloak and Dagger stop moving towards you. They stand upright and place their left arms across their chests. It must be the Draconian national anthem. But you spend far too long looking at the scene. Dr. Tongs creeps up behind you and grabs your arms firmly. Good try, imposter, but I'm not actually from Draconia, so your tune has no effect on me. Unlucky imposter, smirks Dr. Tongs. Now's a fig, if you don't mind. You have no choice and limply hand it over. Dr. Tongs spots your defeated face and says, Don't worry, I don't like harming kids, it's bad for my public image. As Cloak drags you away, you hear Dr. Tongs mutter, I must call Dr. Tongs and tell him that everything is okay. What does he mean? Anyway, he takes the wig from you, and he shoves you into the old games room again. Bad luck. Push a different button. I don't think there was any hint about these buttons. Maybe. It's possible that one of the papers that you read like way back in the start of the game, like in What Spy magazine or something. Anyway, let's press Z instead. The small pack springs out of your hands and hits the floor. Immediately, hundreds of tiny metal ball bearings roll across the ballroom floor. Dr. Tongs, Cloak, and Dagger spot what is happening, but they are too slow and crash to the floor. Dr. Tongs tries to get up, but slips over again and hits his jaw on a china plant pot. Dagger and Cloak manage to scramble to their feet, but the escape pack has given you a head start. You leave the great ballroom as fast as you can. Rushing through the Chateau's Tandef, with your heart pounding and your breath rasping, you concentrate as hard as you can. You've got to reach the roof and hope that the helicopter is there to rescue you. Can you remember the map of the chateau? You spot a big spiral staircase ahead and rush up it immediately. A choice meets you at the top of the stairs. There's a door on your left and one on your right. Which one should you open? So there was a map somewhere. I mean, can you remember the map? You're at the top of the stairs and there's two doors. I mean, canonically, you have an eidetic memory, so let's go right. The door opens into a room with a piano, 2 music stands, and 2 white doors. Which one do you choose? Right or left? Meadow knows. No, you're in the piano room right now. There's 2 doors. There's a door on the right and there's a door on the left. I mean, you have the map, right? Right door is the bedroom, left leads to the utility room and roof. So we're going left. You enter a large, bright room piled high with junk. On the far side of the room is another set of stairs. Clambering over the rubbish, you reach the stairs, climb them, and come to a small doorway. Below, you can hear Dr. Tong's growl. I bet the imposter's going to the attic. You think carefully to yourself. There must be a way out onto the roof from the attic. You go through a doorway into a bedroom and see a set of metal steps leading upwards. You climb them and head into the attic. The noises below prove that the Draconian spies aren't far behind you. The attic is dusty and dark. Fortunately, your darting eyes spot a rickety ladder leading towards the roof. Climbing the ladder, you reach a hatchway in the roof, but it's fastened with a small lock which has 1 press written on its side and some strangely shaped buttons. However hard you try to force it, the lock holds the hatchway firm. Which of the buttons do you want to press? So there's a triangle button, there's a circle button, and there's a square button. The middle one seems pretty good. The lock clicks and the door swings open. You pull yourself through the hatchway and up onto the chateau's roof. Clambering across the slippery red tiles, you reach a flat area. Your heart is pounding and sweat is dripping from your brow. You strain your ears. Is that the whirring noise of the helicopter blades nearby? You rummage through your mission bag and pull out the signal flares you chose back in Sir Norman's office. As you think about which flares to use, Cloak and Dagger appear on the other side of the roof. Shouting and cursing, they start scrambling towards you, and you have to make a decision right now. So your options are to fire both red and yellow flares, or just a yellow flare. You can't actually fire the blue and red flares. So a yellow one. Alright, that's enough. Ammo. Up shoots the yellow flare. Now everything is up to the helicopter pilot. The helicopter gets closer. You can almost touch its wheels. Suddenly, it swerves away. No, you've got to collect me, you scream. But it's too late. The helicopter soars away. Wrong flare color, intruder, barks a breathless dagger, gripping your shoulder firmly. Your throat's so dry you can't even manage a single gulp. It's all over. You've been captured. With no way to escape and two enormous strong hands propelling you along, you're led back down to the great ballroom where Dr. Tongs stands, looking scarier than ever. Well done, Dagger. Well done, Cloak, he says. Unlucky imposter, smirks Dr. Tongs. Now's a fig if you don't mind. You have no choice, and you limply hand it over. Dr. Tongs spots your defeated face and says, Don't worry, I don't like harming kids. It's bad for my public image. And you lose. There's not really anything that you can do from this point. Because sadly you have no way to make a purple flare. Which is really kind of shitty. But that is a shame. Yeah, anyway, you were very close. No point going to the roof as of yet. It's kind of no, you kind of have like no choice. Yeah, like if you had a blue flare as well as a red flare, you could make a purple one, but you don't. I guess that's it. I don't think there was an extra purple flare anywhere. Anyway, that's the really useless spy school. You have failed to retrieve the wig. What a shame. I did actually bring some like more traditional sort of fantasy ones like this. This book was written in oh jeez. First published in 1996 by Hodder Children's Books. Thanks to Clive Gifford for writing it. If you had made it to the chopper, you would have survived and actually won because week 3 is correct. There is a yeah. Yeah, so I did bring back another like few different sort of more fantasy oriented books that are like this with like inventory management, and they're actually like a lot more sort of D&D style with like battles and stuff. Boy, it sure is a shame we didn't grab that gun. So maybe I could like do more of those if you guys were interested, but yeah, that was the really useless spy school. This book. I'm just gonna show you this dog picture again because it's so good. Yeah, I think it was really good that I had like all of you guys here and doing it. Yeah, so the other ones aren't really sort of as comical. They're like really like sort of like you go into a mountain and there's like there's like a large like a really powerful wizard at the end, and you have to like destroy skeletons and stuff to get to him, and like, you know, classic D&D style like traps and stuff, and you have like a full-on character sheet and stuff. So that might be like a little bit more involved and less amusing. But if you guys were keen on doing that, then we could do more of that. If we mess up, Dr. Tongs actually kills us instead of just slapping us on the wrist. Yeah, pretty much. Like he throws you into a room with ping pong balls, and like the pinball machines are actually like mimics. And you try and like play one in your frustration, and one just like opens up and just eats you. Yeah, I could actually like let me see if I can grab them easily. Oh yeah, they're within reach. Yeah, so I have these books. One of them is called The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. You have been eaten by a Gru, indeed. That one I've had for a while, and I also have The Citadel of Chaos and Deathtrap Dungeon, which are like, you know, like classic sort of like real fantasy shit, you know. That's the 3 of the Fighting Fantasy series. And yeah, they all have like full on character sheets and like metal bands from Scandinavia. And it's just like, don't worry if you don't have a dice, you can just like flip through the book, and on the bottom page is like a dice roll for you. Which is kind of awesome. And these ones are like much more difficult. But yeah, I guess like we could do those on like weekends or stuff if you guys were around. Like as a Sunday night treat or something. But yeah, that's what I brought from home in like a fit of pure nostalgia. Looking through the bookshelves at my parents' house. Yeah, I'm really glad you guys were here and enjoyed the story time. Yeah, I wish I could make you all hot chocolates. I have read maybe like 10% of the first one. I have never beaten any of these. No, I think these fighting fantasy ones are actually like a lot tougher. They make no like qualms about just killing your character. If you don't have a particular item, or you know, if you fuck up a battle and you lose too much HP, like bad luck. That's it. Bring multiple guns. Yeah. So I guess that's it for tonight. I'll probably be playing a bit more Final Fantasy tomorrow afternoon. If you guys ever have like suggestions of things that you'd like to see me play, please let me know, because yeah, you do have to be prepared. Your music knowledge might not help with the skeletons this time, no. Eaten by a Gruen. But yeah, like that's how we do, I guess. Thanks everyone for coming along. I'll see you guys later.